Have you been mining Pi on your phone for years? Tapping every single day, watching that number grow, dreaming about financial freedom when Pi finally goes live. What if I told you that the reality behind Pi Network is not just disappointing, it's deeply alarming? In this video, I'm going to expose the hidden truths Pi Network doesn't want you to know. From massive insider dumps that crashed the market, to disturbing red flags around user data privacy, fake decentralization, and pyramid-style mechanics. You need to see what's going on behind the scenes, because what started as a movement may just be a mirage. Stay with me. This is going to be the most important Pi Network video you've seen. Back in 2019, Pi Network launched with an irresistible idea: mine cryptocurrency on your phone without draining your battery or using up resources. No investment needed. Just one tap a day, and you're in. That promise alone attracted over 60 million users worldwide, especially in countries where access to expensive mining rigs was out of reach. The app created a sense of community, urgency, and inclusion. People started forming mining teams, sharing referral codes on social media, and building what felt like a global movement. Everyone thought they were early to something big, the next Bitcoin, but mobile first. But as the years went on, something strange started happening. Despite growing user numbers, Pi's actual progress remained minimal. And by 2025, people started asking a tough question: where's the value? Let's start with the most explosive and revealing chapter in Pi Network's story: the insider dump that shattered user trust and exposed deep cracks in the project's foundation. In early 2025, not long after Pi Network triumphantly announced its long-awaited, open mainnet phase, something unexpected and deeply unsettling happened. Reports began to circulate that over 12 million Pi tokens had been sold, not by regular users or public participants, but allegedly by early insiders or individuals directly connected to the core development team. This wasn't a gradual release or a coordinated market launch. It was a massive offloading of tokens, done with precision and perfect timing. The reaction from the market was swift and brutal. Within a matter of hours, Pi's price plunged by almost 50%, sending shockwaves across the community. The crash wasn't caused by poor demand or weak fundamentals. It was triggered by a deliberate, behind-the-scenes sell-off that most users knew nothing about, until it was too late. But what made this situation even more disturbing was the state of the average user account during this period. While insiders were liquidating millions of tokens and securing profits, the vast majority of Pi's user base, the same loyal users who had been mining Pi every day for years, still had not migrated their tokens to the mainnet. The migration process was riddled with delays, bottlenecks, and, most critically, KYC verification issues. Millions of users were still stuck in limbo, unable to access, transfer, or trade their holdings. Essentially, they were locked out of the system they helped build, while a privileged few were allowed to profit freely. This brings us to the myth of decentralization, a cornerstone of Pi Network's public messaging. From the beginning, the project has marketed itself as a people-powered blockchain, a truly inclusive network where anyone with a phone could participate and share in the rewards of decentralization. But when you dig beneath the surface, that narrative quickly begins to unravel. According to multiple sources and blockchain analyses, every currently active validator node, the very infrastructure that keeps the mainnet running, is under the direct control of the Pi core team. In a truly decentralized blockchain like Ethereum or Bitcoin, validator power is distributed across thousands of independent operators. But in Pi's case, the central team remains in full control of network validation, meaning they essentially dictate what gets processed, when, and by whom. This centralization raises a host of serious concerns. If all the validators are controlled by the same entity, what guarantees exist that the system won't be manipulated or censored? Who audits the validator's behavior, transaction finality, or data integrity? The answer, unfortunately, is no one. because full transparency is still missing. And this leads directly to the issue of documentation, or the lack thereof. A legitimate and trustworthy blockchain project typically publishes a white paper or technical documentation that clearly outlines critical project metrics. These include things like total token supply, how tokens are allocated, the distribution timeline, vesting schedules for insiders and developers, and details about how the ecosystem will function over time. Pi Network's white paper, while visually sleek, fails to deliver on these fronts. Key elements are vague, omitted, or continuously deferred. There is no precise breakdown of how many Pi tokens are circulating, how many are reserved for the team, how much will be used for development or marketing, and, perhaps most alarmingly, how many tokens may be sold or unlocked in the future without warning. Even now, as of mid-2025, Pi's core codebase remains largely closed. Despite community calls for transparency and the open-source spirit that defines the Web3 movement, Pi Network has not fully released its backend code or smart contract infrastructure to public repositories. Without public code audits or open access to the underlying protocol, there's no way for third-party developers or security experts to independently verify how the system works, or whether it has hidden vulnerabilities or backdoors. This puts an enormous amount of blind trust in a team that, to date, has not demonstrated a commitment to full openness. You might say, but some stores accept Pi. I bought coffee with it. That's great, and a few local community initiatives are indeed experimenting with Pi as payment. But these are isolated cases, not a sign of mass adoption. Real crypto utility means thousands of merchants, real-time trading, and actual integration into financial systems. Pi doesn't have that. Not yet. Not even close. And despite high community demand, Pi is not listed on any top-tier exchange. Yes, there was a Binance vote. Over 86% of the community voted in favor. But Pi still didn't make it to Binance. Why? Many speculate it's due to the coin not being fully liquid or transferable, and the questionable decentralization model. It currently trades on lesser-known platforms like MEXC, BitGet, and OKX. But many users have reported withdrawal issues, delays, and unexplainable freezes. That's not the kind of confidence you want from a major crypto launch. Let's be clear. Pi Network doesn't look like a classic crypto scam. There's no ICO. They didn't ask for your money up front. But they did take something else: your time, your trust, and your data. So, is Pi Network a scam? That depends on your definition. It's not an outright rug pull. But it's also not the decentralized, transparent, blockchain revolution it claims to be. It's something in between, a vague, attention-fueled project with huge potential, but very little accountability. Until they deliver open-source code, real-world use cases, and an open market where users can freely trade their tokens, the project remains in a gray zone. It's not what it claims to be. At least, not yet. If you've made it this far, you clearly care about what's going on. So let's talk. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you migrated your Pi tokens? Were you able to sell or use them? What do you really think about the future of this project? Hit the like button if this video opened your eyes, and subscribe if you want more brutally honest crypto content. Because the truth matters more than hype. I'll see you in the next one.